So,
Eddie, is this what you use to do your software when you're programming your stuff?
yeah, this is what I use for my display.
I thought it was, yeah.
But I don't have any single single red, green, and blue
Right,
elements.
you're all RGB.
It's all RGB.
Right.
I'm just trying to show you guys how you can use RGB for single red, green, and blue elements. So now I'm going to go. So I've got this red here. I'm going to click on that. Now I've got this green here. Remember we created a matrix before. So I'm going to use that matrix. Now Ron's got a whole million matrices here. But over the last couple we created ourselves. So the red one is the middle one, so I'm just, oops, wrong matrix. And I apply it on the red. Because the difference between using as a matrix and using not as a matrix is one will give you a colour straight across, the other one will spin it around. So I'm going to copy that and save that, because obviously what I use, save that transition to library. So I want to reuse that later. One of the things that I want to see fixed is you should be able to name your matrix. At the moment, it doesn't allow you to name your matrix. It just gives you the dimension of when it was produced. But we want to be able to name the matrix because it can get confusing from time to time. We've got to work out which matrix I actually was using before. Obviously, it wasn't that matrix because it hasn't drawn anything. So I'm going to drop that onto another level. Generating some blue there, but I haven't got 100%. So I'm going to copy that. I've got it over here. Very annoying. Some of you guys, I did this demo before on creating multicoloured trees. Perfect, not a problem. Everything worked perfect. So I'm now using something else here, and it's not performing exactly the way I was expecting it. But it's an alpha version, so there's some things that need to be done. So I'm going to get that little screen up the side there again going. So I want to use my effects that I've used. You see there's the mega tree. So I'm going to go use inputs. I'm going to go my macros down here. There's the one again that I saved, so I can reuse that whenever I want. What was that, sorry?
Can you use macros from other applications?
From other applications? No, because they're within Lightshow Pro. I'm going to show you how you can mix and match macros shortly. So I'm trying to create a spin around my tree, but the problem I've got is I've got to allocate it to the right matrix. So these macros we can move around if we want as well. I'm having some weird things happening here because I said the alpha version is not really what I wanted to show with. Because before I had perfect shape colours coming up, everything was looking great. But at the moment, that's not the correct point. So I can move that where I want. I can resize that if I want. I'm glad this is actually getting video right now, because I'm going to show this to developers, so they can, some of the output problems that they've got. As I said, that should be coming up as a full colour, full channel. We'll just go across here. So that didn't do anything I wanted. So back here, just said, I'll just really apologise for this, guys. So you see, that's the chases that we done earlier on that tree. But I'm trying to use the macros now to create the same kind of effect. I'm just going to start again from here. Red. Macro. See what happens here. So normally you don't have all what he's got shown here because we've been using it for demos all day, all weekend, so we've got a lot of garbage in there at the moment. I think that's going to be better now. There we go, that's what I was looking for, okay? So now we can I'm going to copy that this time and copy that again. So transition to library. And I call it tree chase. So I'm going to use that. There's my tree chase just appeared there. This time I'm going to drag it down to this layer for my red. And I'm going to link it to the red matrix, which was the second one we'd done.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep.
Let's say you had more elements that you had. If they were defined in red, that effect would go across all of them?
If you create them together in a layer, yes.
Okay,
So as you can see, those traces are being generated there,
right.
and we'll do the last one for our blue. So as you see, we're just putting this trace across, but it's only picking the colour that it sees, because we've told it that's a red string, that's a green string, that's a blue string, so it's only going to use that colour. But because we wanted to go around the tree, we're treating it as a matrix, so we need to use the correct matrix that we've set up. So there's a million different matrices in there. Most people would never have that. You'd have maybe 4 or 5 different matrices in your system. So as you see, now we've just generated our effect, and we have never touched the grid to do that. We've done it purely just by macros, dragging those across. So let's have a look at how that looks. Pretty effective. And so we've just done that chase. We want to say, let's make it a bit more fancy, a couple of jim like that, bouncing back.
Can you make it spiral up too?
What's that?
Can you make it spiral up and down and?
Not with that one, because it's not a pixel tree.
Right, yeah.
It's just, so we'll go into pixel trees next. I'm just showing you how you can use your normal RGB stuff. So the same theory applies to, we're just using a tree, but the same theory applies to any non-RGB element that you've got red or green or blue. So what I'm trying to show people is that your existing red, green and blue strings, in Lightshade Pro, you can just use them the same as what you're doing with macros. And in most cases, you wouldn't have to do it this way, because it's only because of the 3D tree I'm showing, because I want to use the spinning effect as well with the macros. So that's why I'm breaking it down to its colours. Because if I just had it as one, if I had it without breaking down the colours, then I can't define the matrices that I want. And then all it's going to do is just sweep the colour across it. So what I'm going to do actually is show you what happens. I'll show you what happens. We'll go non-RGB, and we'll apply that effect a bit further on here. Like that. So we'll apply the same effect this time to the whole tree. Actually, sorry, I just have to use this tree because my tree chase I've already created. Just drag it there. But this time, I'm not going to use an object matrix. Right? So it's not going to spin around like it thinks it's a matrix. It's just going to think it's just an element on display, and we just want to sweep colour across the front. So the front and the back of that tree will both go equal, which is quite a good tool to use, because sometimes we don't want to have things spinning. We want to just slide the colour across. So you can slide the colour across for your tree now, and we'll show you that. So no object matrix used this time, and that's all we've changed. It takes a bit of time to generate something sometimes. This is a bit of an older computer. Sometimes, the older computer sometimes takes a bit longer. But it's a hell of a lot better than going click, click, click in the grid and things like that. As I said, I was using a Surface Pro computer today, and yesterday I wanted to actually use that here, but it doesn't have the VGA output that I wanted to use. So I couldn't connect it up to here. So unfortunately, I'm using this computer instead of using the computer with that would really pumping out much faster than this. Ron's actually a bit jealous of the fact that The Microsoft Pro is Surface Pro is much faster than this. I was so impressed myself. I was actually I'm thinking of buying one. Very impressed actually. Just ask questions while we're waiting if you want.
Let's say you had a spiral tree for a mega tree, not an RGB one, but one that does the spiral.
Yep, we can do that as well.
Okay.
There's a
Is
thing
it
called a
fairly
Z
easy
tree.
to- Yeah,
There's another drawing we can do as a Z tree.
zig tree, is that what it is?
Yep. I had someone exactly that. They had 3 colours, red, green and blue, and they were just spirals going up the tree like this. So what we used was the Z tree. And from the Z tree we were able to tell it the top was the top, the bottom was the bottom, and we were able to chase that Z tree up and down.
Okay.
He actually had it quite complex. He had it up in sections. Now, this transition normally wouldn't take this long to do. So, here was funny. Everyone I've shown today, it's run smoothly as soon as I get here, and that's always the way, isn't it? It was building this much quicker. I don't know what he's got going, what other services he's got going in the background. But this is taking a lot longer for what it's trying to generate. It's not generating that much.
Now, if you're going to convert your LOR sequences to Lightshow Pro,
You can import them in.
you can import it directly.
Yep, just import and it'll come up and you can go for that.
And will it recognize all of the controllers and everything, set it up, or do you have to set up all the controllers?
No, all the controllers will be imported in. All your timing marks will be imported in. Now, if you've got RGB elements, they will be see how it's generated that effect now? Because it's going across the tree now, not around the tree, as opposed to that. That's going around your tree, that's going across your tree. See, it's not going around the back, it's just going across the front. And what it's doing is just imitating the back and the front together. So a different way, a different effect again. So that's pretty much how we can use our non-RGB elements within Lightshow Pro without even manually touching the grid. So we can do our chases. We can then load this up together with, we can create a load with the both. So what I'm going to do now is do my RGB tree. So we can, again, we've got here, we're same kind of thing. We've got a whole bunch of different macros we could use, and we'll get further into those shortly. We can make things bounce, and we can do all sorts of stuff. But what I'm going to do first is, what I was doing is, I'm going to, we'll make our RGB tree do the same. God, this is annoying. So we'll go our RGB tree, we're going to just create a chase across that on our RGB tree. So we do a colour slider. I want to do the rainbow because it's RGB, so we want to do rainbow coming across our tree. We want it to rotate around that tree again. So we're going to use the object matrix for our tree. I'm pretty happy with that. But I want to be a bit more fancy, make it go one way and bounce the other.
What's bounce mode?
What it is when it gets to the end, it'll then come back again. So you can time it over your beats and work out your beats and say, okay, I'm going to go to the beat. Your chases go like that to the beat. notice I actually applied that to my RGB tree, but I didn't actually have it selected. Doesn't matter. You can create all your effects without having anything shown. Don't actually have to show anything. When I go up here, there you go, it's already there. So you don't actually even have to show the grid if you don't want it. You can create your effects just straight on this timeline. So have a look at that. There's our colour chase going back and forth on our tree. We can say, oh, we want to make more than that. So I'm just going to do first is just change an option that I have. No, it's already undone. Normally what I do is I don't have enable transition undo on. Because what it does is if you can muck it around and play around with your sequences and stuff like that, your macros and effects, what it'll do is it'll take a bit longer because then it will save the previous one that you've overwritten. So if you want to save some time, just don't have enable transition undo done because that'll save you the time because it doesn't have to go through the process of saving that effect, the previous effect. So now I'm going to mix my trees together. I'm just going to have a sweep just go across my house. So we're looking at both my trees. Instead of doing the trees this time, we'll just say, you know, there are a bunch of RGB elements all together. Alright? So you've got RGB elements in your red and green and blue strings all together. We'll do that same chase now going across the screen. So we'll treat that like that's a house. So don't think they're trees right now. So I'm going to go to both trees. Alright? Which both trees you would, if it was going to be your whole house, you would just say whole house. Right? And have everything attached to that whole house, all the elements attached to that layer. Because the way you do it is you can break these down into single elements, or you can group them in multiple elements, or you can treat your whole house as just a single element. So you can work together with a whole bunch of things. So this time I'm going to go to both trees. I'm going to create the effect across here. Actually, no, I'm just going to use the one I already got here, the tree chase effect. Drop it here on both trees. So you can save all the types of effects you find that you like. I like those effects I just created. Save it. It's a matter of just dragging it in next time and using it. It doesn't matter if you want to use it over your whole display or one element. You can just use it whenever you want. You can move them. You can do lots of things with it. So I'm just going to use that again this time. Because it's over my whole display, or over both trees, it's not going to be into an object matrix, because I'm just doing a slide across my house, which is considered both my trees at the moment. So I'm happy with that. I can change the frame rate. How many frames per second? Well, the frames per second, 15 is more than enough. People want to try and do 30 frames a second. They're not TV screens. You know, 15 frames a second is more than enough for the human eye not to detect. So, because you've got to remember, every time the more frames you put, the more data points there are, and the more bloated your sequence becomes. So you want to always think about having efficiency in your sequence. So no use putting more frames per second if you don't need it. We can preview that macro if we want. We can mix macros and have a look at different macros. So that's that macro basically. Because macros we can mix and match.
Can you import macros from a different user? Like if you have someone that's real experienced and they have like 20 macros, you can share the actual macro file for their safety. I'll have to ask about, is there plans to be able to just share macros very easily? Because that'd be a nice little feature to have, to be able to actually share macros. Because you can create some advanced types of macros. And the beauty about it is, a macro I create that I put over 10,000 channels, you can use that exact macro and put over 2,000 channels without having to modify it. Yeah.
So now I'm going to build that on that slide on both my trees. Because I'm treating both my trees now as houses, as my house. So, you know, just think of it as, I'm just showing you the mapping ability of creating a slide across your house. So we're just using that on our trees at the moment.
You create your houses as one element.
Now what I do is,
How does it know what's on the left and what's on the
because when I draw everything, it's physically mapped in the visualizer. So when I'm putting that effect now on there, that chase, it looks at the screen and it will slide it across. And oh yeah, it goes on there because that's located there. It goes on there because that was located there. So it automatically knows where things are. And that's a real powerful tool to have because, you know, slides across a whole display become so easy to do. It's really not that hard to do. I mean, creating trees and things like that, hasn't taken me long to create the trees and start playing with them. A lot of other software will take a lot longer and be a bit hard to manage. But you can see when you create your layers, you can break down into individual layer, group layers, so all your elements can be tied in the way you want.
When you're doing that fade from one end of the of your canvas to the other,
What's
does it
that?
only affect RGB channels, or will it affect whatever's on the?
Because I've used both trees,
Yeah, in other words, if you're going from one end of your element to the other end when you're doing a fade like you're talking about, is that fade just in RGB or is it regular strings as well?
so that's the chase we just did. So it's an RGB, and there's my non-RGB. So that chase is now applied to both the RGB and the non-RGB. So we'll just play that back. Go across, and there we go, straight across. There's a chase done across the display. So don't think about the trees just then, but think about if you had, you know, your whole display set up now, and you created the layout for your whole house, right? You can then just easily apply that chase across your house, just like that now. I tell people, spend a bit of time creating your layers, you know, setting up that side of things, because once you've got that set up, it then becomes really creative and start doing some really good, powerful things with it. But as you see, that's now just treated both RGB and non-RGB, and I've worked them together seamlessly. Integrated to both of my display. I mean, that's pretty powerful too. And I don't know if there's any other software that can integrate that like that with RGB and non-RGB elements all working together. And that's what most people have is they're making a transition to RGB, but they've got their red, green and blue or different coloured strings. This allows you to work with both quite happily. As long as you set up the colour so Lightshow Pro knows which colour the strings are, then you have the power to apply those effects. So what we might do is apply just another fancy something else instead of just a chase. So what I might do this time is we'll do a plasma. And we'll do the rainbow. Do that. We'll just throw that on our display now. Just throwing anything out there just to show you how things go. So what it allows you to do is, instead of spending all your time clicking boxes and things like clicking channels, you know, things like that, you allow you to play around and start looking at, what can I do with creating an effect here and there? Because that's what we really want to do. We want to spend more time playing around creating effects, not sitting there clicking on boxes. Any other questions?
Dropping photographs like into a matrix that you made up, is there anything you can do that?
I'll show you that next.
And is there anything?
I'll show you, I'll move on to those shortly. Because you can use movies, pictures,
Because what I'm going to start doing is just working on the RGB tree now and showing you how some of the things we can do with RGB. Just wanted to show people first off non-RGB and RGB and how you can bring them together. I have no idea how this is going to turn out because I'll just have a little play. See how it's now automatically picking the colours and the percentage of colour that was in that macro. It's automatically chosen the green, how much green there was, the percentage of green that was in the colours, percentage of red, and percentage of blue. What's that? Yeah, very quick to do. And that was just something I just quickly did. So now, let's do an image. So now I'm just going to work with the RGB tree because I think you all get now the idea of how your RGB and non-RGB elements can work together and how you can easily integrate them together. So now we'll go to get rid of the we'll just work on my RGB tree this time. We've got transitions. Transitions are more video based. So let's put a flame, let's go and put a flame over our tree. You have things like map to object and map to stage. Now the difference between map to object and map to stage. Map to stage will map the effect. So the macros effect also has a map to stage and map to object. So what that will do is map to stage. When you put that effect on, it'll map to the whole stage of that display. Alright, so the visualizer is the stage. The whole visualizer is the stage. So if you only got one item in there, it's still gonna map the whole thing over the whole display, but the only thing it's gonna show of that video is just the parts where I've got something there. If I want to map to objects, so I've got two trees here and other elements here and around, what I'll do is it'll create basically a square area within those two defined areas and only map to those objects that you've selected. If you've got, if you're only just working on one tree or one element, you can then map to just that object in itself. So it gives you a bit of a scalability, so you can put effects over the whole stage or effects that just work on the elements that you have in that layer. So I'm just going to have a quick go at this and see what it looks like. See, it's just done, the difference now is what I've done here, 6 frames per second, because it's different. Alright? What I've got here is 6 frames. I want a few more than that, because the previous, doing macros, it talks about frames per second, where this one talks about number of frames. So, you've got to decide over 7.72 seconds how many frames do I want to show. I want to say 50. Just use any one. And now this time I'm going to map to stage. See how that looks. Map to stage. So now it's got a lot more timing marks in there for me. So let's have a look at that. So it's basically a bit of a flaming tree now. I can make it look more smoother if I put a few more frames in there. But again, there's an effect straight on my tree, quick as it can be. Now I'm going to get a bit fancy and start mixing things. I'm going to start using some macros. So this time, I want the words Merry Christmas to go around my tree. the aerial black font. And it's going to be red. I'm going to change this shortly and show you how more power we can actually do with this. And I'm going to use that object matrix because I don't want it just to go across the front of my tree. I want it to go around my tree. So if I just wanted to go across my tree, I wouldn't click use object matrix. If I wanted to go around my tree, I'm going to use object matrix, which was the last matrix that we created. So now I'm going to go preview that because I know it's not large enough and I want to just go from left to right. So we go left, make that a bit larger, position that up there. Start a bit earlier than that. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I want to make it larger.
What controls the speed at which it moves? Is there, oh, there it is.
It's the length of the macro that controls the speed. I actually want a speed bar. I want a speed bar, and I'm going to be asking for a speed bar because what happens later on when you start mixing macros, then what happens is it doesn't seem to. You want to be able to adjust the speed then because you're mixing different effects. So I know you used to be able to adjust the speed, but at the moment, because this is an alpha version and some new bars have been put into this macro, you weren't able to have the ability to move these things the way you were before. But this is all coming up in the next version, which should be out the next month. Well, not next month, 2 months maximum. We recognise that time's running out and people need to start sequencing. But you can start using this version now, well not this version, the release version anyway. You just won't have some of the extra features that are coming out with the new version.
Do you have it go diagonally at all, or
What's it?
diagonal? Like the text go across from bottom to top?
I know you can.
There it is.
Like that. So we'll just use that effect if you want. I will give that a go and see how that looks. Any other matrix? So now we're going to have the spiraling up, the word spiraling up around our tree.
When we selected 16, is that 16 completely around the tree, or are we only doing a half tree?
No, because I've selected that as an object, I've selected the object matrix. It's going to go around the tree, not over the front of the tree. We can select it to go on front of the tree if we don't choose the object matrix. So you've got those options, you've got to opt that option for the tree.
So if you only did like a 3/4 tree, you could do that. But
Yes.
yeah.
So let's have a look how that looks. So you see the Merry Christmas scrolling up. I mean, we can play with it and make it a bit better than what it is. It all goes down to playing with it, where what works best for us.
Yeah.
I keep moving the mouse every time I click the button, because he's got a real high sensitivity at the moment. So I said we can then do that. But I'm going to try something different now. I'm going to add another macro to this, and I want rainbow colours in my Merry Christmas. So I'm going to now add another macro. And I'm going to use my colour slider macro. Add. Click there. Just going to use my rainbow there. But I want it stationary. I just want the colour to stationary. So it's going to start on screen, finish on screen. So it's just staying stationary. I'm going to go back here, and this time, well, first thing I'm going to link that. okay? I want to link these two macros together. All right? I don't want one after the other. I want them to work together. I'm going to go to the marquee effect, and I want that colour to come through. It won't come through if I have it black, red. So I'm going to use black, because black will allow that to come through. Let's have a look how that looks before we actually generate it. So I didn't do that right, because I've got my colour slider second. So the colour slider is on top of my writing. So what I'm going to do now is just go here and move that to here. Then I've got to link my image here. We'll link that here. Let's have a look how that looks. Look at that. Nice rainbow colours. Christmas, Merry Christmas goes up the tree. So there's a lot of power where you can play around and mix things and match things. So it's unlimited the way you can generate different effects. It really goes down to your imagination is a limitation. It just goes around and playing things like that. So it's a beautiful colour sweeping across there. We can then say, yeah, well, I'm happy with that. Let's generate that. And the beauty about this is all your effects can be put over multiple items, single items, it doesn't matter. So there we go, the Merry Christmas sliding up our tree with all the colour. Nice effect. But I want to ramp it up a bit further now. I want sparkles happening at the same time now. So I'm going to add another macro. And I'm going to use the sparkle macro effect. I'm going to use the darkness. Preview that. That's too much, so I'm going to now reduce the density. I only want a few sparkles. Now I change the intensity so it's just really bright like that. And link that there.
How many macros can you link together? Just whatever. Okay.
How many you want? I've done some 6 and 7 macro effects.
Okay. That's impressive.
So it goes down to your imagination. So we'll just keep working with this macro, just showing you some combinations that we're working with. We'll just, because I'm going to add another macro after this, because then we're going to spin everything around at the same time. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see how that looks. I should have checked it before. Should always check before, because I think I didn't link it. That's all right. We'll just go back and fix that up. But as you see, it's not that long. It doesn't take long to create these great effects. It doesn't take long to regenerate and modify them and do things. And if you like something, save it, reuse it. Or if you like something as a base, save it, reuse it, other things. So let's see how that works this time. So it's only going to do that because guess what? It's over the top of everything. I haven't lit the background. So when we go here, and we go across to our sparkle effect, we've got it linked there, but what's happened is we haven't linked the background images. So what we've got previous to it is not linked, because this layer is now on top of all the other layers. But it's not showing any of the layers behind it because we haven't allowed it to link the background images. So now we'll do that, and we'll just preview this time.
course, the more macros, there we go, the spark happening at the same time. We can change the size of sparkles. But now I'm going to add another macro. Because I'm crazy. Crazy Aussie.
That's why we like them.
So this time, I'm going to go rotating things. But I'm not going to add an image in here, I'm just going to add it as is. I'm going to slow down the rotation speed, get rid of the image, the zooming, and I'm going to link that. But if you notice this time it says allow link image override. It's a bit different. What we'll do now is, whatever we've got previous to that is now going to be linked override. So this effect now is going to take control, because I've got no image there, but it's going to take control of what images I've got before it. So we'll preview that. Let's do that first. Let's see what that does for us. Pretty effective, isn't it?
I'm on growth.
Exactly. So you just go play and play. So what this is allowing you now to do is be more creative and spend more of your time playing around and being creative. You can make your effects really unique. You know, you don't have to rely on canned effects and things like that and just slightly modifying canned effects. You mix and match things. So now I'm going to actually show you another way of creating even more effects and more ability to do things. Because I'm just using the effects here that we're using, just mixing and matching layers, mixing and matching the macros. So what I'm going to do this time is, so I'm happy with it, I'm just going to generate that as is. So what I'm going to do this time is, what I do is I use Microsoft Word. And Microsoft Word has, you know, the simple drawing tools. Draw circles, squares, you know, all certain little basic things. So what I do is I create just a black box, make it black. And then I'll drop things in it like drops and things like that, which I'm going to show you now. Let this finish first. Don't know, this most probably won't look very good on a tree because it depends on the resolution of your tree. It really determines how good an effect's going to actually appear. Well, notice that, you know, still not a bad effect, but pretty good. But, you know, an 800 pixel tree is not a very high resolution when you're talking about text and things like that. But you still can do text, you can't really push the boundaries. You know, it just takes a bit more playing around. So if you're doing that type of 800 pixel tree, just take a bit more time to play around and you'll find your sweet spot where everything works. So what I'm going to show you here is what I've already done as far as images. So all these images here, except some of these, but those teardrops, those lines, this. All right, let's do spiral. We'll do some spirals on our tree. All right, rotating coloured spirals. Now this is just a bunch of lines drawn in Microsoft Word. So all of this is very easy to do in Microsoft. And then the way I capture is Windows has a snippet tool. Do we all know what the snippet tool is in Windows? I don't know if, do we know what the snippet tool in Windows is?
Yeah. Yes.
Yep. So in Microsoft Word, you create the black image, you create the shape or whatever you want, and you snip a tool and just snip it out and save it as a JPEG. You now got a picture or an image. I mean, it could be a picture or anything. Any JPEG you want. I'm just saying I'm creating my own JPEGs. So what this time I want to do is I'm going to use this effect because I want drops spinning down my tree. All right. Anyone seen drops going around spinning on a tree? We've seen lines going around a tree like that, but this is a different effect. You know, this is unique, you know. So you can basically, your imagination, it's all about your imagination now.
So I'm going to go and start a new macro this time. So we're going to try and achieve that spinning drops coming down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my, I'm going to use image macro effect. And now I'm going to get that image that I liked. Desktop. So we're going to go down left. Down left, but we're going to go spin around the tree this time, okay? We just don't want those drops to go over the face of our tree at the back and the front. We want it to spin around our tree. So again, we go and we choose the object matrix. We'll see how that generates. Then what we'll do is we'll have a look at some videos shortly too. Looks good, does it? So, didn't take me long to do that either. There's a lot of power here, and it's just now it's your imagination. Do different drawings. You can really become creative and think, how do I want my objects to look? What effects do I want to create? So using Microsoft Word and creating your own images and then importing it into here and then using different effects, I can then say, okay, I want to now add that roto effect as well. So we use click override. And we'll preview.
You didn't actually add the logo.
What's that?
You didn't put the ad on the logo, did you?
So I missed something here. It was right.
Put the ad for the logo.
I didn't get it. Jeez, goose. Call me a goose. So layout, link, image, photo zoom, bounce mode. I want to bounce it a bit as well. Let's have a look how that looks. You know why it's not doing it? Because I didn't link it. I thought I didn't do that. See, I've got to link that.
And while that's thinking, this is probably real simple to do, but I'm not familiar with Light Short well. Suppose that you make that and I've missed my timing for whatever reason for half a second. You just go up to the top and cut off half a second if I want to shorten that effect.
Yeah, we'll do that right now. We'll generate that. See, you've got your drop spiraling around. So let's spiral around that. Let's do that on our tree. Actually, no, I want to be a bit more fancy because I want that whole thing to slide down. It's all that. So I'm going to add, I'm going to add another roto zoom. So I'm going to add another image macro. But this time I'm not going to add any image. I just want to use what the image is going to do, because I want to allow the link override. So I'm going to allow link override again. So we'll go right down, and let's have a look how that looks for us. So as I said, I'm just mucking around with different effects, seeing how they all turn out. So you can just spend hours and hours just playing around and going, oh, that's a nice effect, I'm going to save that for later. You know, you don't have to go and do it in your sequence now, you can just play around and say, well, that might be something I want for later. Save it to my macros and use that later. Now, a warning at the moment, this is going to be fixed in the next release. If you have to uninstall Lightshow Pro and reinstall it, you need to save those if you've got them, because it will delete them if you reinstall Lightshow Pro. It's going to be changed, so your user macros that you've created and things like that are going to be stored somewhere else away from that folder, because it's very frustrating if you create all these great effects and then you get an upgrade, you uninstall, reinstall, and you lose what you've got. And have to start creating new effects again. So I'm not going to do anything here. So you said that your timing wasn't right, you want to get it right. You can go like this, I want to move that down, shorten it. Let's just shorten it down. So it's just pretty much drag. And if you want to grab, you can then reposition it as well, get it close to the timing you want. So you don't even need to have your timings for it. You don't even have to use the grid at all. You can do a whole sequence without even ever touching the grid, just using macro effects. But the grid gives you the ability to do your beat-based stuff and things like that. And that's what I like. I like to have a bit of beat-based stuff and a mixture of things. So we'll move on to something different. I don't know what's going on there. That's fine. So I'm trying to think what would be next. We will show everyone. Okay, if I've got a matrix and I want to draw my own individual stuff.
Eddie, are you going to give us a break between the last class and the next class?
Everyone happy for a break now?
Yeah, will we give you a break for a couple minutes?
Yeah, let's have a break.